Welcome back. Today we're counting down the 7 Harley Davidson bikes dealers are trying to dump as soon as possible. From overpriced to underwhelming, stay tuned because number 1 is a shocker. At number 7, we have the Harley Davidson CVO Street Glide.
We're starting off with the ultimate example of Harley Davidson overpricing their bikes, the Street Glide. If you've ever thought Harley Davidson was the gold standard in luxury and high-end performance, this bike might just make you rethink that opinion. The CVO Street Glide is part of Harley's custom vehicle operations lineup, which promises premium features, exclusive designs, and top-of-the-line performance. But with a starting price of $50,000, this bike has become a showroom ghost. That's right, $50,000. Let's break down what you get for that jaw-dropping price. The CVO Street Glide is powered by a Milwaukee 8 121 engine, delivering 115 horsepower and 139 pound-feet of torque. It's a powerhouse for sure, but does it justify a $50,000 price tag? The bike boasts a 12.3-inch color touchscreen display with Harley's latest infotainment system, a Rockford Fosgate sound system, and fully adjustable suspension. But when you look at what else you can get for the same price, it's hard not to feel like Harley is just charging extra for exclusivity. For just about $28,000, you can get the Street Glide Special, which offers 90% of what the CVO version does, minus the fancier paint job, slightly larger touchscreen, and luxury touches that most riders wouldn't consider worth an additional $22,000. When it comes to resale value, these CVO models typically take a massive hit the moment they leave the showroom, leaving buyers with a bad taste in their mouth.
Dealerships are struggling to sell these bikes even with price cuts because the value just isn't there. Riders can get similar performance and comfort for far less money. In a world where people are becoming more price conscious, $50,000 for a Street Glide with just a few premium features feels out of touch, and now dealers are scrambling to get these off the floor before they sit around collecting dust. For Harley enthusiasts, it's clear the CVO Street Glide is an example of when luxury went too far, and dealers are doing everything they can to move it. But the buyers aren't biting. Up next, a Harley designed to capture new riders, but it ended up completely missing the mark. Stick around for number 6. At number 6, the all-electric Harley Davidson Livewire. This is Harley Davidson's most ambitious yet failed projects, the Harley Davidson Livewire. When Harley introduced this electric bike, it was marketed as the future of motorcycling. They envisioned the Livewire as a bold leap into the future, combining cutting-edge electric technology with Harley's iconic branding. But in reality, it turned into one of their biggest miscalculations. The Livewire was equipped with a permanent magnet electric motor, pushing out 105 horsepower and 86 pound-feet of torque. It could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 3 seconds, offering thrilling performance. But here's the catch. Harley's loyal customers didn't want an electric motorcycle. The Livewire was silent, lacked the signature Harley rumble, and offered an entirely different riding experience that didn't resonate with the traditional Harley Davidson fan base. What made matters worse was the price. The Livewire launched at an astronomical $29,799, which was more expensive than many of Harley's top-tier touring bikes. Even after the price dropped to $22,000, it still failed to attract buyers. The range was another issue. With only 70 miles of highway range, it was great for city commutes, but impractical for those looking for long-distance rides.
Then came the charging issue. Riders found it to be much less convenient than refueling a gas-powered bike. While it supported DC fast charging, it didn't exactly make long-distance trips easy, especially when compared to traditional gas bikes that could refuel in minutes. Dealerships were left with unsold Livewires sitting on their floors even after significant price cuts. Harley even spun Livewire off into its own sub-brand to rebrand the bike, but the damage had already been done. Now, Harley Davidson dealers are slashing prices and practically begging buyers to take them off their hands before they become unsellable relics of an ambitious but failed attempt at entering the electric motorcycle market.
But if you think that was bad, number 5 is a powerful muscle bike that completely missed the mark. You won't want to miss it. At number 5, the legendary Harley Davidson FXDR 114. This bike was meant to be Harley's bold move into the world of high-performance muscle cruisers. Sporting aggressive styling and powerful performance features, it was supposed to appeal to riders who wanted a blend of Harley's traditional power with a modern drag race-inspired look. Unfortunately, the FXDR failed to deliver, and dealerships are now scrambling to unload the remaining inventory. Powered by the mighty Milwaukee 8 114 engine, the FXDR boasted an impressive 119 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the most powerful softail models at the time. It had a 240mm rear tire, an aluminum swing arm, and lightweight composite bodywork designed to give it a sleek, performance-focused look. But despite all its muscle, it didn't offer the kind of ride that buyers were hoping for. The bike's biggest problem? Comfort. While it looked aggressive on the showroom floor, the riding position left a lot to be desired. The low-slung, stretched-out stance with forward foot controls and a flat drag-style handlebar looked great, but it created an awkward and uncomfortable riding posture for longer trips. Riders complained of back, neck, and wrist strain, making the bike less practical for anything other than short bursts of speed. Handling was another major flaw. The big rear tire, while giving the bike a bold look, made cornering difficult. The bike was sluggish and heavy in turns, which made it impractical for navigating tight city streets or winding roads. For a bike that was supposed to offer performance, it didn't measure up in real-world conditions. At a starting price of $21,999, buyers expected a lot more from the FXDR. Competing bikes, like the Indian Scout Bobber or Yamaha V-Max, offered better handling, comfort, and performance at a similar or even lower price point. So dealers are now left with a bike that didn't quite hit the mark and are forced to offer massive discounts just to clear out the stock. The FXDR was a daring attempt, but it missed the mark in too many areas, leaving dealerships stuck with unsold units. What happens when Harley goes a little too far with performance and futuristic design? Find out with number 4. At number 4, we have the futuristic-looking Harley Davidson V-Rod, a bike that was ahead of its time, but ultimately didn't fit well within the Harley lineup. When it was first introduced, the V-Rod was meant to be a high-performance muscle cruiser that would attract a younger, more performance-focused audience. Developed in partnership with Porsche, the V-Rod featured a liquid-cooled Revolution V twin engine, capable of producing up to 120 horsepower and 84 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the fastest Harleys ever built. Despite its impressive specs and modern design, the V-Rod never fully resonated with Harley's loyal customers. Why? Simply put, it was too different from the traditional Harley. Harley riders are known for loving the classic V twin engine sound and feel, the low revving rumble that has become iconic. But the V-Rod's liquid-cooled engine was much smoother and higher revving, making it feel more like a sport bike than a true Harley cruiser. Many traditional Harley fans found it lacking that signature Harley soul. Additionally, the V-Rod lacked the same level of customization that is a hallmark of the Harley brand. Riders couldn't tweak the bike as easily as they could with other Harley models, and with aftermarket parts being more expensive and harder to come by, customization enthusiasts were turned off. Another issue, the V-Rod's range. The bike came with a small 3.7-gallon fuel tank, which meant that long rides were interrupted by frequent stops for fuel. For a performance-oriented cruiser, this was a serious downside.
The V-Rod was also caught between two worlds. It was too heavy for sport bike riders who didn't appreciate the Harley brand's slow-revving style, but it was too modern and refined for loyal Harley customers who craved the classic feel. The bike also faced competition from lighter, more agile bikes from manufacturers like Yamaha and Indian, who offered performance cruisers at a more affordable price.
Despite its bold performance and unique design, the V-Rod failed to connect with the core Harley audience, and now dealerships are desperate to sell off their remaining stock, often offering steep discounts just to clear them out. What happens when Harley goes a little too far with performance and comfort? Find out with number 3. At number 3, we have the Harley Davidson Street Rod, a bike that was designed to be a sportier, more aggressive version of the Street 750, but ultimately failed to meet expectations. Launched with the promise of combining the low-cost accessibility of the Street 50 with the performance edge that younger, more adventurous riders were looking for, the Street Rod was supposed to shake up the cruiser market. Instead, it ended up as one of Harley's most forgettable models. Powered by a reworked version of Harley's Revolution X engine, the Street Rod offered 18% more power than the Street 550, bringing the total to about 75 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque. On paper, this seemed like a good deal, and Harley equipped the bike with upgraded suspension, dual front disc brakes, and a more aggressive, sporty riding position. The street rod even featured 17-inch wheels for improved agility, setting it apart from other Harley models.
But here's where things went wrong. The street rod's riding position was uncomfortable for many, especially taller riders. Harley tried to create a more aggressive, sport bike-inspired stance with raised foot pegs and a compact frame, but the end result was a cramped and awkward riding posture. It was not conducive to long rides, and many owners complained of back and wrist strain after even short rides. Styling also posed a problem. The street rod was marketed as a modern urban bike, but it couldn't escape the Harley purist mentality. Traditional Harley riders found it too generic and not iconic enough, while younger, sportier riders weren't swayed by its cruiser DNA. It didn't have the raw, rebellious style of traditional Harleys, nor did it deliver the high-performance sport bike experience that some riders were looking for.
To make matters worse, the street rod's competition was tough. For around the same price, $8,999, riders could choose from bikes like the Honda CB 650R, Yamaha MT-07, and Kawasaki Z650, which offered better performance, handling, and more comfortable ergonomics. The street rod couldn't compete with these models in terms of practicality, comfort, or value. In the end, the street rod failed to carve out a clear identity. It tried to be both a sportier version of a cruiser and a more affordable alternative to sport bikes, but it never succeeded in fully being either. Now Harley is scrambling to move the remaining stock of street rods by slashing prices, trying to get rid of what has become one of their more disappointing experiments.
And coming up next is a bike that was supposed to shake up the adventure world, but failed miserably. Number 2. Harley Davidson Pan America. Coming in at number 2 is the Harley Davidson Pan America, a bike that was supposed to revolutionize Harley's lineup by tapping into the growing adventure touring market. When Harley first introduced the Pan America in 2021, it was a bold move, marking the company's foray into a completely new genre. Harley had long been known for its cruisers and touring bikes, but the Pan America was built to compete with legendary models like the BMW GS and KTM Adventure Series. While the Pan America boasted cutting-edge technology and impressive specs, it didn't quite live up to the expectations, leaving dealerships with a glut of unsold units.
At the heart of the Pan America was Harley's Revolution Max 1250 engine, a 1,250 cubic centimeters power plant capable of producing 150 horsepower and 94 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the most powerful adventure bikes on the market. It featured adaptive ride height, which automatically adjusted the bike's suspension when coming to a stop, making it more accessible for shorter riders. The 6.5-inch TFT touchscreen displayed navigation and ride modes, and the bike also came with a suite of advanced tech features like cornering ABS, traction control, and multiple riding modes. On paper, it should have been a massive success. However, the Pan America ran into several issues that caused hesitation among adventure riders. The Pan America's early problems also didn't help. Riders complained about electronic glitches, especially with the adaptive ride height system, which was prone to malfunction in off-road situations. Some buyers also reported issues with low-speed handling and the bike's top-heavy feel, making it difficult to maneuver in tight spaces. These initial hiccups, combined with high expectations, led many potential buyers to look elsewhere. Despite updates and improvements made by Harley since its launch, the Pan America has struggled to find a loyal customer base. While the bike has its merits, the competition in the adventure touring market is fierce, and Harley's lack of experience in this field became evident. As a result, many dealers are slashing prices and trying to offload unsold Pan Americas as fast as they can. Up next, a Harley designed to capture new riders, but it ended up completely missing the mark. Stick around for number 1. Number 1 bike, the Harley Davidson Roadster, a bike that was introduced with much fanfare but ended up becoming one of the most disappointing models in Harley's lineup. Launched as part of Harley's Sportster series, the Roadster was marketed as a performance-oriented cruiser aimed at riders who wanted a mix of sport bike agility and classic Harley style. It had the looks to turn heads, but it didn't quite live up to expectations in terms of performance and rideability, leaving dealers struggling to move move units. The Roadster was powered by the 1200 cubic centimeters Evolution V twin engine, delivering a decent 73 horsepower, which should have been enough to satisfy the cruiser market. The bike featured a low-slung profile, dual disc brakes, and a sportier, stiffer suspension to give it a more dynamic riding experience compared to other Sportster models. However, despite the high expectations, the Roadster fell short in a number of key areas. One of the biggest issues was the uncomfortable riding position. Despite being marketed as a performance cruiser, the Roadster's low handlebars and forward controls made it difficult for many riders to maintain a comfortable posture, especially during longer rides. Another significant drawback was the bike's handling. While it was lighter and nimbler than Harley's larger cruisers, the Roadster still felt sluggish and was prone to instability in tighter corners. The suspension, while stiffer than other Sportsters, did not provide the level of control and smoothness expected from a premium Harley, and riders often found themselves struggling to keep the bike steady during more aggressive maneuvers. The Roadster's high price tag of around $11,000 also made it hard to justify when there were so many competing options on the market at a similar price point or even lower, offering better comfort, handling, and overall ride quality.
Ultimately, the Harley-Davidson Roadster failed to find its niche with its combination of poor ergonomics, average handling, and steep price leading to lackluster sales. Despite its initial promise, Harley-Davidson ultimately discontinued the Roadster, and now dealers are left trying to clear out the remaining stock at steep discounts.
The Roadster is a prime example of how Harley's bold attempts to diversify their lineup sometimes miss the mark, leaving them stuck with unsold inventory. If you're looking for something more balanced in terms of performance, comfort, and value, the Roadster's performance did not match its potential, making it one of the most unsuccessful models in recent Harley history. That's a wrap on the 7 Harley-Davidson bikes dealers are struggling to sell. Agree with the list? Drop a comment below, like and subscribe for more. Ride safe, and see you next time.